Well, a very big hello, Flower Power Cruisers. Your cruise host, Jason, here with another all access pass from home. As you can see on the screen, some legends with, well, let's be honest, I've had legends most days. Some more legends here with me. I am honored to have dialed in conversations with Family Stone. We have Papa J, Jerry Martini up there on one corner. We have the lovely, the wonderful, the fantastic Fun in another corner over there. And of course, the sensation Swang down there in the other corner. I say down there. Those are in my quadrants. I don't know what your quadrants are, but
We're here.
most importantly, thanks for being here, friends. How's everyone doing? You guys hanging in there?
Yep.
Making the most of it, Jason.
I'm married to a nurse.
You're married to a nurse. Smart man. You saw this coming.
Yeah.
You got ahead of it, Papa J. I like it. Was that?
That's why I'm alive.
Yeah, amen. I mean, my mom's a nurse, so I completely understand and relate. I'm fortunate enough to have it in the family as well. Before we talk too much about the current climate, and we will, do me a favor, and Jerry, I'm going to direct this first question at you. Take us down a little bit of history. How does Sly and the Family Stone come to be some years ago?
Well, obviously it started with Sly, and my relationship with Sly goes back to the late 50s and then into the 60s, early 60s. Sly's first gold records was Let's Do the Swim by Bobby Freeman. And as his first gold record, he was 19 and I was 20.
Babies.
And with that money, he bought a house in San Francisco for Big Mama and Big Daddy. And downstairs in the basement, they had a music room. And that's why I used to hang out with him there. And he would bring out his songbook. He had about 500 songs then. And it just freaked me out. And one thing led to another. We started talking about the band and started putting it together. And I used to go pick up Cynthia and Larry in Oakland to go out to our first gig in my Ford Falcon station wagon. And we'd go play in San Jose at the Losers North in San Jose. And then we played an after hours club where our first manager, Rich Romanello, owned. And then we became an after hours hit. And that's when David Kaperlik from Epic Records come and saw us. He couldn't believe it. They signed us. He worked right under Clive Davis. And it's a long story, but to make it short, it seemed like it went pretty fast. You know, and in Sly's radio show, I used to go to Sly's radio show. And one time I told him, I said, why don't you sing your whole show? Because he used to turn around and play the piano and then come back. So I was on my way to work and he sang the whole show. He sang the news, he sang the weather, he sang the dialogue. He did everything different. It was totally innovative. And that's how the whole thing was from the beginning. It was totally innovative.
And when you look back, you know, you said you were just 20 when all of this began, and here you are just a couple of years later. As you look back on the magic carpet ride that has been Sly and the Family Stone and then Family Stone after that, do you have any singular thoughts? I mean, is it all a blur? Does it feel surreal? Does it just feel amazing? What type of emotion do you get looking
Absolutely.
back?
The band didn't start until 1966, but Sly and I, we used to just play with local bands and stuff. And then he wrote The Swim. Then the band actually started in December, I think it was 65 or 66. So I was 24 then. I was old then.
Yeah, you were an old man at that point. Woo! You've been around.
And everybody else was considerably younger.
And before I ask this fabulous young lady a question, would tell us about how Fun came to be.
They was hopping.
Jerry, as you look over and you see Fun's picture on your phone, and she now is one of the lead vocalists for Family Stone, how does that make you feel?
It makes me feel good. That's why I have a room here that has a lot, all the history about it. And then my whole upstairs is like that. And I remember when Fun was growing up, and I used to always ask Cynthia, I said, we need to bring Fun into the band. And Cynthia would look at me and say, son, she's not quite ready yet. She's still growing up. And so I'll let you know when she's ready. And she did. 5 minutes after she said that, I said, bring her in. She came on the next gig, you know?
And Fun, if you don't mind me asking, how many years ago was that? When did you first start performing and touring with Family Stone?
I think it's been 5 years.
5 years now?
Yeah.
It's been 5 years.
And what does it mean for you? What does it mean for you to pick up the microphone and be out in front of a band that is so legendary, but for you is so personal? I mean, obviously with your mother and father.
Well, it has been awesome to be able to make some memories and be a part of the story. You know what I mean? But my most favorite moments was when my mom was with us, because that was one of my dreams, is to always perform with her. So
Hers
that
too.
was my most favorite moment.
Did you say that was Cynthia's too, Jerry?
Cynthia just couldn't wait. That's her baby. That's Cynthia's baby, you know. And Slides too. You know, she goes down and sees him now. I talked to him on the phone a while back. You know,
How's
he said, I love you, man. He goes, love you too, man. Oh.
If you don't mind me asking, Fun, how is your dad? How's your dad feeling?
He's fine. He's been doing really good, especially these last 4 months. He just been chilling, watching, catching up on shows, eating pies, and
things could be worse right now. Yeah, watching shows and eating pies.
You know, he talks a lot of shit. I mean, just God damn.
Just in general, or just to you?
Sometimes I be feeling like it's just to me. I be like, why don't you pass some of this shit around to some other folks? Okay?
Matter of fact, let's call Swang. Let's get Swang on the phone right now.
No. Enjoy it.
Swang, including you in this now, man. Tell us how you came to be part of Family Stone, and tell us about a little bit about your journey.
I was being New York based. I was just kind of doing my thing there, playing music with a lot of bands and producing records. And a good friend of ours, mutual friend of ours, named another Papagayo. He's out of Mount Vernon, New York, next door to the Bronx. Anyway, he was having jam sessions for years. You know, I was playing with him for about 20 years, give or take, in the West Village of New York, and was playing a lot of Sly and the Family Stone music, just jamming until the wee hours of the morning. And I guess, with the internet being the way it is, everybody sort of was able to communicate a little bit with Jay. He came out and jammed with us in honor of Sly's birthday. It's about 3 years ago. And we had connected once or twice before, but that's when we really, became close friends. And not long after that, he said, hey, if we can make this happen, would you want to come out and do it with the Family Stone? And I don't know if he was able to finish the question before I said
2 days afterwards, I called you.
Right.
After we played that night.
Yeah. He said we'll be in touch that night, and I thought, yeah, sure, whatever.
Yeah, we've all heard that, right? Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah,
right?
I'll call you.
But,
don't call me. I'll call you.
Exactly. But he did. He reached out, and that was, like I said, just about 3 years ago. And I've been there ever since.
And what's it like? What'd you say?
I feel like I'm on TMZ right now.
Yeah, right. We're digging in. Yeah, exactly. Get the eyeballs in there. And what's it like? What's it like, Swang, feeling, and I don't mean that disrespectfully to Sly, but what's it like stepping into those shoes? Stepping in front of this band and doing what you do.
Stepping into the shoes, I can only succeed Sly. No one can really fill those shoes. That music changed my life. And in an odd way, I feel like I was preparing for the gig by playing this music live for so many years before finally being able to having the privilege of being brought in. So for me, it's just like it's the ultimate validation to just stand next to my heroes on stage and have them feel like what I'm doing has value and I'm sort of doing justice to what they did, honoring their legacy.
And Jerry, for you, obviously having been there from the beginning, when you see Swang out front, doing what he does, and you see Fun over to your side doing what she does, what's it like seeing the next generation of artists step into the Family Stone shoes and do it so well?
It's all part of the plan.
It's all part of the succession plan, right?
It's our boss's plan, but I'm just carrying it out. I've watched Fun grow from a really talented person that wasn't comfortable at first into a person that's always been funny as hell. She made Cheech and Chong fall off the chair, and she's so talented. And when I went up to play with Papagayo on Sly's birthday, I had already planned on changing singers, because sometimes when you hire a person to take somebody like Sly's place, they develop a disease called LSD. That's lead singer's disease. And they start thinking that they're the man, and they start turning around and directing the band or acting like there's only one Sly. Yeah. Swang don't try to be him. He just bees himself. He can do a whole Prince show. He plays 6 instruments. When I heard him, I was sitting down with Al DiMarino, who was vice president of CBS International for 10 years, and our first agent with William Morris Agency. He was sitting there, and I went and sat with Al. You've seen him since. I said, well, what do you think, Al? He goes, that's the next guy. I said, absolutely. So we had you drafted before you knew.
Oh, thank you, Al.
Yeah. You were called into the league before you even know you were being looked at for the league.
Did you see Myrna on America's FBI's Most Wanted?
I sure did. Shout out to Myrna and the Bulldog.
Musicians that live in New York. I told them to go to New York when I was recording with them in Austin, Texas. They said, you have no future here. Go to New York. And now she's on all kind of TV shows and everything. And they're friends with Swang. And it's a big, happy family.
And Fun for you, great catalog of music, so much wonderful music. What's your favorite song to perform live? I know that's a ridiculous question, but I'm going to ask Swang. It's coming your way in a minute too.
Oh, so no, not this one.
I'm starting with Fun, but it's going to come your live. Not just, I'm not saying what's your favorite Family Stone song. I'm saying when you perform live, what's the most fun you have performing live?
Probably Thank You.
Thank You.
One. Yeah, it's always been my favorite, actually.
Yeah.
Is it the meaning of the song or just the song, just the live performance value?
Well, when I was younger, I don't know if you guys ever heard this show it was called Lip Sync or whatever. Mm-hmm. Did you remember that? Mm-hmm. So I was auditioning for that, and that was one of the songs I was going to do. And so it's cool. Like really just like all those, I don't, you had to be there. Me trying to like mime all these lyrics and like what they meant, like it was crazy. So it holds like a special meaning to me because of that, because I felt like at 12 I was like really trying to understand the lyrics in my own way, even though that wasn't, like my mom was loud. So like on one of the lyrics when he was like giving love, what is the lyric?
I'll let you think about it.
Okay, let me think about it.
You think about it. I'm gonna go over here to Swang while you think about the lyrics to the song that it's your favorite. Jeez.
I'm trying to figure out this one lyric that okay, go ahead.
You go ahead, Google it while I go over it.
Oh yeah, that's an idea.
Over here,
Swang, what about
fun.
Swang? What about for you? What's your favorite to perform live?
To perform live, probably Stand if I had to pick one.
And why is that?
Um, a few reasons. I mean, obviously, you know, Sly's music is so innovative. Stand is like several songs in one to me, which is intriguing for me as a musician, you know, to kind of sink my teeth into. Lyrically, I mean, all of Sly's lyrics really, but that one in particular, without getting too deep about it, in today's climate, social climate, for some reason, you know, it seems to still resonate with people and kind of resonate in new ways, even. Quick story. I'm just going to put this out there and just leave it there. One of the first shows I did after signing in was, where were we? We were in upstate New York. I think we were in Syracuse, New York.
Yeah.
At the New York State Fair, something like that. We were headlining there that night, and Papa J does a little bit of a monologue, you know, touching on 60s, you know, when the song was written and released first, and then kind of bring it into today's, you know, times, the things that we're dealing with, and how similarly we can relate them to one another. And the first word you hear in that song is the word stand. It's the first thing I sing. And there's no prompting, there's no everybody get up, there's no, you know, cue for the audience. They hear the word and they respond by just volunteering to stand. What was noteworthy about the Syracuse gig was I'm looking out and I sing the word stand, people start to get up, and there is, on to my right, I can see in the audience this married couple, brother and sister, you know, had like shortcut afros and sort of throwback to that period of time. And just to my right, their left, was a guy with his granddaughter wearing "Make America Great Again" on his hat. And they're right next to each other, and there's no
side eye
going on, not what you might expect, or certainly not what I might expect in any other context. But here's Papa J sort of saying, you know, stand up for what you believe in, is what the song is sort of saying. And here they are next to each other. In any other context, I might have been uncomfortable, feeling like, okay, something's about to go down here, security, you know, or whatever, but didn't feel that way. And they're kind of looking at each other, they're not, I wouldn't say they're smiling and being, you know, instantly best friends, like heal the world type thing, but there's no animosity. They're both dancing. And that was kind of poignant for me. I felt like, okay, maybe being on stage and seeing these lyrics and doing this right now is doing more than just what I as a musician might expect it to be, which is just purely doing the show for show's sake. So sorry, I'm long-winded like that sometimes.
No, that's wonderful. I kidding.
You're saying it like it is.
And Jerry, as you guys originally created and recorded this music, and I know this is a silly question, but did you understand the depth that a lot of this music would touch people and how it would affect people? Or were you just kind of young kids just in the game trying to create popular music? If that's, I don't want to be rude with that, but you know.
I understood every word. That's why I tore up my songbook. Well, I used to go over his house and he played this for me. And then I was so into R&B and stuff growing up. I was like an outcast in school because I'm a little freckle-faced white boy, and I'm loving James Brown and loving all this stuff. And it was white and black back then, and
Sure.
People used to call me a lot of names and everything. And I still stood up for what I believed in with the music. But Sly, his vision wasn't just like R&B. He never wrote any ooh baby songs.
Yeah.
All this stuff had meanings. And I used to make fun of some of the bands, the pop bands. I used to laugh at Bob Dylan in a way because I didn't like his voice and stuff like that. And Sly got mad at me. He goes, you know what? You're not looking deep enough, man. And then he put on Bob's stuff. He goes, Jerry, listen to these lyrics, man. And then you tell me that this guy and not got it together. And it was a humbling experience. And I did. And then we both liked the Beatles too, because the Beatles started before we did. And I was blessed playing in a nightclub in '65 before the band, and the Beatles all came in. And they went outside and took their picture with me, and I was honored. It was really a big honor. But Sly was so far ahead of everybody else that I was like in awe of him. It's about my entire life, and I still am. To me, his music will live so far beyond. Him and I are both 77 years old. He just had a birthday. He's 5
Bless
months, 15 days younger than me. But this music is going to go longer than even Swang and Fun because it has content.
Sure.
You know?
I think that's what's great about great music, though, right? I mean, Swang, to kind of touch on what you were saying, it can resonate, and it doesn't have to resonate with white, with black, with male, with female, with gay, with straight, with this. I mean, it can resonate. Period.
Exactly.
It can sit with people, and I think to Fun's point a moment ago when you said you were going through the lyrics of some of the songs. I think every lyric can mean something a little different to somebody too. Each word doesn't have to have exactly the same meaning all the time, or each phrase. Fun, did you come up with your lyric yet?
Oh,
Come on, baby.
giving love and overdubbing.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know what that meant at 12, but so my mom's like trying to help me get this little show thing together. Like, what am I gonna do? So I'm like, so this part when he says giving love and overdubbing, I want to be like a Hare Krishna, and I want to be like passing out these things. And she's like looking at me like, okay. So anyway, that was my little part of the story, and that's why one of the reasons why I really like that song a lot. It just brings back a lot of memories for me.
And you write a lot of your own music too. Tell us a little bit about your own process, and do you draw on your mom and dad's experience and your experience in Family Stone, or do you go your own direction?
My own direction, yeah. I could never ever be sign the Family Stone, or even try to come close to the magnitude, of their success or just their process. Even like I could never compare to that.
Yeah, you can.
I'm on a different wave. I'm a different generation, so we just got different music, So I'm on some other shit.
And that's quite all right. Can people find if people want to go listen to you and your own music, where can they find you?
Well, I have some old projects that are on like YouTube, pretty old. A couple of my other personalities are on there, but I'm working on some new stuff. Yeah, some new stuff, and coming soon.
All right. That's a good teaser. Swang, what about you? Obviously, you had quite the career going before you jumped before you were welcomed into the Family Stone family. What can people find your music out there? Do you write a lot yourself?
I haven't written in a long time. I've been producing other acts and taking them into the studio and helping them with their songs. I've been doing that for about full time for about 9 years. So so if you go to the Family Stone, thefamilystoneband.com, there's a link to my website with all of my projects. Some great young artists who are doing modern music and using some tried and true methods. I'm still using tape and analog hardware, and for all you music aficionados out there,
the audio heads.
Yeah, you know what that means. But for me to be doing that for artists in their 20s who aren't really familiar with the medium of tape and the old school methods, it's really helping them a lot and giving them a lot of insights. We just I won't be too long-winded, but I just finished a record with a young artist. Her name is Victoria Rose Fern. Her EP just came out. 100% of what we did on that record was recorded tape. There's string players, and Boo Reiners, my friend Boo Reiners, played a great lap steel guitar track for us, and So there's all kinds of, people in the studio making music with their hands and their brains. And when I go in there, the computers get turned off, and it's important to me to be able to help younger artists learn the process and be better after they leave than they were when they came in with me.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm working.
That's admirable. That's wonderful.
Thank you.
Jerry, how does that make you feel, knowing that there's young artists that still find it important?
I just feel like it's the future. It's moving forward. It's not going to stay the same, but I'm not stuck in the bag. I choose to be. I've never heard anything greater as far as what was written than what we already did. I don't believe in my heart I'm ever going to write anything better than that. So this is the best thing I could possibly do, was keep the word going, keep it going, bringing in young people that have new ideas. Fun is brilliant, way more than she knows. Swing is brilliant. Our drummer Frankie is brilliant. Jimmy McKinney, can I say, kick ass? He kicks ass. He is great. And Nate and Blaze, everybody in the band is very special, and that includes being writers. Swing's a really good writer, excellent writer, great producer. Nate Winfield, he writes, he plays. There's so much talent in this band that I can just be the old guy.
You can be the figurehead.
There, play a little bit of tambourine, play a little bit of soulful on my horn. And I got all this young talent in front of me that keeps me standing up there, and I'm hopeful for a few more years, because I'm only 77.
You're just a pup. You're just a pup.
Anyway, we have a whole gym here in this house. I could take you around. And that's what I do about an hour or two a day.
Attaboy.
I'm nervous anyway. Walk around the house, looking at my watch. Wait a minute. Put it on and see how many steps I got.
You're being monitored, yeah.
If you don't do that, at my age or your age, if you don't move around, you're going to atrophy,
Yeah.
You're going to get old. I know a lot of people, 27 years old, that's older than hell.
Yeah. There's truth to that. Look at Fun agrees wholly on this, yes.
I love this band.
Well, you're very complimentary of the band, and I have to say that, as part of the charters, we bring in a lot of different acts. And one of the primary, as people that get to see all these acts from back in the day, and some more current, and all different, iterations of them. Some of them have mostly original members, some of them only have a few, and however the build is. One of the great divides, I guess, for lack of better words, is how tight a band still is. And I will say unequivocally, Family Stone, you guys are right at the very, very pinnacle of a tight band. Your show is tight, your set is tight. You don't have lag. There's very little derivative in your set. It's really, really well crafted, and it's really well performed. How do you keep it as it is? How do you stay so consistent?
I have a simple answer to that. There was different versions of this band before. There was a guy named Tony who was the guitar player of one of the versions of a Sly band. I wasn't really part of it, and he kept changing stuff around. And I asked him, because I played in Japan with him and Sly. And I said, Tony, why are you changing that all around? He goes, because I'm going to make it my own now, And I said, why are you trying to fix it for? It was never broke. You can add your talent to it, but if something ain't broke, you really shouldn't try to fix it. That's just something wrong with it. Or you can do better, and not one of them was any better than Sly. That's why Miles Davis and Herbie Hancock and a host of other jazz greats worshipped him. They loved him. And because I was just blessed, so I think there's no accidents. I was chosen for some reason to be part of this, and and I've always been in love with the songs and what I do. They just, all they're doing is keeping up with what was written. They're not trying to make it their own. They're trying to do it the very best they can. And that's why it sounds great.
You know, it's interesting you say that, because one of the I'm gonna use the word battles, and that's not a fair word, and anyone who cruises with us knows it's not a fair word. But one of the battles is when we bring bands out that everybody knows, that have iconic songs, that have all these amazing, this amazing repertoire. Uh, we have to sometimes encourage and remind these mega artists the way you did it, the way people remember it is really what they want to hear. I know you may want to adjust, or you may want to, but man, they love Thank You the way it is. They want to hear that. They want to hear these songs the way they remember them and the way they danced to them 45 years ago, not the way that maybe you think you can reinterpret now with.
True.
And it's interesting. It's cool to hear you say that.
You got the best of all worlds when it comes to Sly and the Family Stone music, though, because I mean, frankly, the music is timeless right off the bat. We know that, but generation after generation knows this music through various means. I heard Sly and the Family Stone from my parents, but my friends' younger brothers and sisters heard Janet Jackson do Rhythm Nation and thought, I got to dig deep into this, and come to find out it's a loop of Thank You.
Yeah.
So they become fans sort of moving through the so-called golden era of hip hop in the early 90s. They came to know this music, and they know the catalog better than us now. And the funny thing is, what was really interesting, to build on that point, when we went to England, summer 2018, I want to say, hopefully I have that right. We went to the Jazz Cafe, and it was sold out. It was the hottest summer they had there in decades. And you can count the number of people in the room over the age of 40 on one hand. It was packed with young kids, vinyl junkies, young musicians, hipsters, you name it, whatever classification you want to slot them in. They were there, and they knew every word. They sang along. They could identify every riff. So I think what that gives us, to build on your point, is that gives us a great signal that the music need not be tampered with too much, because what was done back then clearly was done for a reason. Papa J told me, like, when I sometimes I'll sort of ask him questions about those old sessions back in the day, what was going on, and one thing that he said to me was that every seemingly off the cuff thing that you hear on those records was purposefully placed there by Sly. There were a few happy accidents, but for the most part, everything slides into all these little slots in the arrangements for a reason. And I think people actually, even if they don't know the theory or language of music, I think they know that just based on their own musical intuition. So I guess that's a really long-winded way of saying, yeah, Papa J, if it's not broke, don't fix it.
Fun. What about you? I mean, you were saying a minute ago that you're, a different generation and you have your own style in music, but you obviously still have true appreciation for the way it was done in the older generations.
Well, shit, when I go to concerts, I be wanting to hear the song that's on the record. I don't want to hear the lay down that one. You know what I'm saying? So I totally feel it. Play it like the record.
Play it like the record. Amen. So shifting gears a little bit, obviously we're aware that we're in a sensitive climate right now with all that is going on, and I like to give every band or star an opportunity to tell us how they feel about what's going on, with the COVID-19 and our pandemic that we have. There's a reason we're all talking on video from our own living rooms or bedrooms or wherever we are, offices, and not on the cruise. Technically this is actually the week we should be on the ship.
Yeah.
Jerry, I'll start with you if you don't mind. What's going on? What's going on with you? How are you feeling about everything, and how are you guys doing over there?
At my house?
Yeah.
I'm doing fine, because there's just a lot to do there. I got I have a lot of organizing. I've been working on a book since 1921. And when
Been
I-
writing for a minute.
I'm remembering stuff that I didn't put in there. And then in fact, my granddaughter, because she knows she's real, she knows all the gadgets and stuff. And she was over there and she was recording me. So, okay, Papa Dick, I want you to talk now. So I'd be telling stories, trying to get them in line, trying to get them in the right year. Because sometimes being 39 years old now,
Yeah.
my mind jumps around a little bit, you know?
Well, I'm sure there's some fog back there.
Yeah, so I'll, there was. You know what? I can close my eyes right now and I can run through.
That's amazing.
I remember my first grade teacher was Miss Houghton. My second grade teacher was Miss Costa. My third grade teacher was Miss Giraffe. Miss Graff, we called her Miss Giraffe and everybody would laugh. So I have a good memory
Clearly.
sometimes, you know. And
Yeah. Everything
sometimes
pre-60s.
there's natural fog. I mean, I quit doing any kind of heavy drugs a long time ago, so I'm still alive. And I'm not able to smoke weed, which I'm really sad because I smoked it since 1958 when it was horrible. And that's why I have a lung problem. But now they have all this stuff, you know.
Fancy now.
When I lived in Hawaii, though, it was
Oh,
great. I'd get weed in Hawaii, you throw it against the wall and it would stick. So, you know, that was
Icky.
stuff. But I can't do it now because of my age and because of my lungs and everything.
We're gonna have to get him on those edibles. Fun. It's just how it's gonna have to work.
This interview just went away. It just
Very
went-
quickly.
I got
Very
some
quickly.
gummies.
Yeah.
I got some gummies for you, Papa
Oh
Jack.
boy, this
You
is
got some gummies for me, baby? I'm open to that.
Yeah, when I come over there and get that Lysol, we're going to make a swap, okay?
Yeah, I'll trade you gummies for life. That's where we're at. I will give you an ounce for
We have
toilet
3
paper and Lysol.
refrigerators, as you know, and you've been in my pantry, you know, training.
oh boy, this quarantine is doing something here.
Yeah, it's gone a long way. We've got a whole new
Yes.
currency in this country.
My wife was so stocked up, I didn't hardly have to buy nothing because she has 10 brothers and sisters. When they was growing up, you had to go do that.
Yeah.
You know? They grew up poor. I grew up poor. I was born in
Yeah.
the coal mines in Colorado. You know,
That'll do it.
5 people in a little shack. That's a
That'll
song.
do it. Yeah.
Mines, Colorado. I actually did write a song about that, but
Yeah.
I'm fine. It's not bothering me at all,
Good,
except
man.
I'm going nuts because I want to go play.
That's understandable. Fun. I know you're a little
Yes, I
anxious
was.
over there. You were saying you're feeling a little anxiety around all this. How are you doing, my dear?
I am, I'm trying to stay loaded. That helps. I take a couple of shots here and there, even it on out, but I'm scared to death. I'm not gonna front. I'm scared as hell. Okay. Even when they lift this quarantine off, I'm still gonna be in the house for a little bit. Okay, I'm gonna wait to the first round, go ahead and catch whatever they're gonna catch, and they be like, "Oh, well, we should have said 2 more weeks." Yeah, I'm still gonna be in the house for the 2 weeks. Okay.
You're on that 6-month quarantine.
You
Yeah.
feel me? I'm not. No. Mm-mm. Yeah. So it's just me and my daughter here. We chilling. Getting a lot of Netflix in. I don't watch everything on Netflix.
What are you watching? What's your show right now?
This latest show that I watched was the Tiger King or King Tiger.
Everybody's
Tiger.
watching that.
Which one?
Woo!
Crazy. Everybody's
Woo!
watching Tiger King, Jerry. It's a lot. Prepare yourself. It's a lot.
And the Aaron Hernandez thing. Did you guys
Yeah.
watch that?
I did.
Yeah.
It just makes a lot of sense. A lot of these knucklehead guys out here, they all got that Aaron Hernandez because they've been playing football since Pop Warner. You know what I'm saying?
I want to watch the Flintstone show on Netflix. That's
Me too.
Come on.
She's
Yes.
a
You have
star.
it,
man.
goddammit.
Did you
got
say
the voice
Fun
of
Stoned?
somebody.
oh yeah, no, but yeah, that's got to be the next one.
Yeah.
You know?
And Swang, you're out in the East Coast now. Us on the West out here. I'm in Oregon, and Jerry and Fun are both in California. We've got a lot of it, but we don't have it quite like you guys do up in the Northeast. You're in New Jersey, you were saying?
I'm staying in New Jersey right now. Yeah.
But you're in the city normally, right?
I'm in New York, right? And yeah, it's a little strange, being a New Yorker and not really seeing anyone on the streets,
Yeah.
and when I was there, I mean, I've been here for a number of days now, so haven't been there to see it in person, but I mean, it's the good and the bad is sort of the so-called good and bad is something that you're always dealing with as a New Yorker. This, of course, is unprecedented. We've never seen anything like it, and hopefully won't again.
Fine.
But as a New Yorker, it's strange to go through something like this. On a personal level, it's difficult because one, we look forward to Flower Power every year.
Sure.
Which, by the way, before I go any further, I got to commend everybody at Star Vista and Flower Power for being able to make what we all know now is the right call. I've spoken to a few of the friends that we've made on the cruise over the last few years, some of whom have been diagnosed. They're all doing okay so far, from what I've been told. But it was, of course, heartbreaking. But we don't want to overemphasize that too much because, as we know, there are people doing far worse than us through all of this. So as far as us here, I'm here with my folks. We got Soul Town on Sirius, and we're, from sun up to sundown, we're singing along and cooking up all this good food that my mom stocked up on, thankfully, weeks ago. Whatever premonition she must have had.
Mom was ahead of the curve.
I bet you eating meat now, ain't you? God damn it! I bet you
not yet. We haven't gotten to that point yet, but
it's coming.
Who knows?
Before it's over, you gonna have you a hot dog. God damn it.
I do not say never anymore.
Your parents are the same age as me.
They're doing great, and we hope everybody's doing okay and is staying safe and happy, and we're going to get through this as best we can. Play some music.
It's really funny you say that, Swang, because everyone I've talked to, and granted, I'm talking mostly to musicians and artists, but everyone kind of has the same message at the end of the day. And it's exactly what you said. In fact, I was talking to an artist just the other day, and he said, everyone do themselves a favor. And it was in an interview. And he said, just everyone, at least for an hour a day, turn the news off. Yeah. Turn the news off, play a record you love, an album, whether it's new or old or whatever. Just put on some music or a station you love, turn the news off for an hour. He goes, and just watch that. An hour will turn into 3 hours all of a sudden. And, you'll find yourself enjoying some moments and taking yourself back. And I think there's medicine in that.
There is. Music is a savior. I have to say that right now. That's one of the only things that's holding me down because, this is some crazy, crazy mess going on. Uh-oh.
We got you back. Yeah, there's a lot of things. And I tell you what, though, I know I speak on behalf of all the Flower Power guests, and we have other guests from other cruises that tune in and watch these as well. And, we miss you and we love you guys, and we're glad you're doing well. And we can't wait to see you again when we get things fired back up and get another one of these charters going. You're a huge, huge part of what we do. Know that you're just as much family to us.
I would like to request for the next Flower Power, because my room didn't have no balcony on this last cruise. I got to have a balcony, because y'all not about to lock me up in their room, okay, without no natural air, okay?
They didn't tell you that Jerry negotiates all your cabins individually? He said put you downstairs. I don't know.
Thanks, everybody. See you later.
That's why I didn't get a balcony this time. Okay. The last time I didn't get a balcony.
That's why Jerry had the penthouse. The rest of you guys had insides. I don't know.
I need some natural air, okay?
We will take care of you, I promise. But on behalf of all of us, though, truly, I really adore you guys. You really, truly are family to us. And I appreciate you taking the time to come and chat and talk to all our guests. Any final messages before we get out of here?
I love you guys. Miss you guys. Stay safe. Stay corona-free.
See you on the next cruise.
I love it. Thank you, Jerry. Thank you, Swang. Thank you, Fun. Love you guys. Be well. Thanks for tuning in. For everybody, thanks for tuning in for another edition of All Access Pass. Keep it tuned to this channel. We got more coming up soon just for you. Wash your hands, stay safe, stay healthy.